Good morning. This is Life Coach Pearson coming to you guys. For some of you that do know, I have started my journey back to return to the university that I started with back in 2004. I had some life events that happened and some things that caused me not to be, the best student at the time. And I decided to, leave the school until it was, best fit for me the time to return. And going through the process has been something that has been very eye-opening. It's been some lessons learned, some things I've had to come to terms with. A lot of people have heard me talk about sexual assault when I was 4, as well as domestic violence and, almost being killed in July of 2011. What a lot of people don't know is that I had some a trauma or incident that actually happened while I was attending the university, which kind of caused and impacted me being able to perform to the best of my abilities. So in the process of returning back to school, because of the fact that I have more credits attempted than earned, I have to go through the dean for a process of where they review, the circumstances in reference to why I wasn't basically able to perform at the time to the best of my ability as a student. And, I thought the process was more so going to be fairly easy for the most part, because I've spoke about majority of the things that have happened and that have impacted, being a teen, a troubled teen, emotionally, that moved from New Jersey and, just thought that I could completely start a new life in North Carolina when I moved here in 2004, not realizing that the state wasn't the issue, but it was me, myself. So leaving from, New Jersey and the past that I had, I thought, I was going to be able to come to North Carolina and move on to campus and just, start this whole new life and put the past behind me. But the anger followed, the brokenness followed, the past followed. Didn't know that I was suffering at the time from PTSD, anxiety, depression, anything of that nature at that point in time, because I actually was not diagnosed until last year. And so I've been dealing with this for quite some time. But in August 2nd of 2005, a regular night like it always is, I get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. And it's not how can I put it? During that time, you had some people that, would sneak boys in on campus, on their rooms, or had a boy stay with them in their rooms. And, they get up, go to the bathroom. And, our floor that we had, you had bathrooms at each end of the hall. And, of course, there's no boys' bathrooms because it's an all-girls dorm. So I get up. It's about going on 4 o'clock in the morning. And I get up and go to the bathroom. I hear somebody else in the bathroom, which is not, it's normal. And so, I go to the bathroom and I go out to wash my hands. And as I leave out of the stall, I am grabbed back in to the joining stall next to it, and puts his hands over my mouth and tells me that if I screams or make a noise that he will kill me. Never got to see the face because it's very dark in this bathroom around the time, but we know our way around the bathrooms for those that live there, so it's not something that, is not abnormal for the lights to be out, during that time or when you go to the bathroom. And as he proceeds to rape me, it wasn't long before someone else had got up. I guess one of the other people on the, left side had to go to the bathroom, and when they came in the stall, he basically put his hands around my neck and told me to not make a move because he didn't want anyone to know basically that we were in there. The person used the bathroom and they got out, they washed their hands, and after that he turns around and he pushes me into the stall and he leaves. Not that far from the bathroom is like the stairwell or whatever to leave out to the building. During that time, after I didn't understand at the time that I was having like anxiety or panic attacks when I was on campus, so I would go to class. I was fine when I was doing homework at home or, you know, doing my studies at home, but when I would have to physically go on campus, it got to a point where I would be looking at every single male that walked past me on campus, that sat by me in class, because I was trying to hear that voice again. I was trying to find, you know, this person and put a face to the voice that, you know, had violated me in the bathroom. And I still to this day don't know, you know, who it is or anything of the above. But I didn't realize that not talking about it at that time and how it impacted me. I would go on campus and it would be to the point where I felt like I was having a heart attack. I would go to class and I would zone out and literally focus on trying to hear every single male that was in the classroom to see if, you know, that was the person. And it got to a point where I was so consumed with trying to find this person on my own. I never made a report. I never told anyone in the university. My parents didn't know. No one's actually known till now. But I didn't understand the power that it held over me for so long, until having to write this out and be able to put this in this appeal to the school in reference to letting me come back as a student to finish my degree. It's more so where being on the journey and the healing journey and where I am in my process, you know, I can understand why some survivors decide to not return, or they decide to not be bothered with the situation, because it brings you back to a place where after you've, you know, blamed yourself or things of that nature, it's like you realize there was signs that you needed help, or, you know, there were people out there that could have helped you had, you know, I possibly made the report or said something to campus police or any of my teachers or anything of the above. But, you know, it comes to a point where you have to come to terms and understand that, you know, you can't blame yourself for what happened. There's nothing I could have done at that time to change the circumstances, but the only thing I did was get up and go to the bathroom. So I held that guilt for a long time, and maybe if I'd have stayed in my room, it wouldn't have happened. And, you know, immediately after it happened, like 2 weeks later, I moved into my own apartment because I didn't feel safe on campus. And though my parents didn't understand why I was hurry up and trying to rush to get an apartment, they thought it was one thing, it was actually another. To those that, you know, have gone through this, you know, don't give up. It's been days where I looked at this application and I didn't even want to answer it or you know, tell, because then you get to a mind frame of, well, is the person reading this, are they gonna understand how it is that I felt or how this impacted me? You know, y'all want police records, but a lot of times victims of, you know, those that have been raped or in domestic violence, they don't report, you know, or make these reports. So, you know, I can only give you what it is that I have, but I want you guys to understand that I will not allow this to stop me. The paperwork is done. I will submit it on Monday. I just wanted more so to let anybody that doubts returning or, you know, going through the situation or to get help, please get help. Talk to somebody, whether it's a therapist. There's 800 numbers out there that can help. You know, a family member or someone that you trust. Don't go through this process alone. You know, my pride and a lot of other things held me back a lot from telling people or sharing with people. And at the end of the day, you know, I held myself prisoner and conformed to, you know, being able to just think that everything would be okay if I didn't talk about it, and that's not the case. So I claim victory that I will return. I will finish where I started, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to return back there, because I'm not going to allow, you know, someone that violated me to run me off or to hold myself back, or to run me off from finishing what it is that I started, you know, even at the university that I started at. And if it's in God's plan for me not to return there, but to still finish my degree somewhere else, that's fine. But at least I can say that I attempted and did everything that I could to finish where I started, and to not let, you know, the person that violated me win or hold anything, you know, over me, because I've kept silent about it. And the only way that you can no longer be a victim in this process is to speak out, whether it's on a platform, whether it's on social media, whether it's to friends, whether it's in a group, talking about it and being able to not be a victim to yourself on the circumstance, because we can be out of the situation and still hold ourselves in the form of an abuse, and, you know, still abuse ourselves mentally and blame ourselves for the things that have happened. So I just want to encourage anybody that, you know, may be going through this, whether it's returning to school, or after, you know, you've went through a sexual assault, domestic violence, returning to work, or your community, whatever the case may be, you know, take it one day at a time. Get the support, talk to your family and friends, you know, support and surround yourself with other people and other survivors that have, you know, went through the situation or can understand. But always, always, always keep going, you know, whether it takes you 5 years, 10 years, a year to get back and to finish whatever it is that you want to start. Don't stop, you know, get to your healing point or your place, but don't stop. You know, delay doesn't mean denied. And just because, you know, I took a couple years off don't mean that I'm not going to walk across the stage and get my degree. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.